Hi and welcome to the show Podium, and we're on session 040. This week in the UK we have had mental health awareness, and it's got me to really think, and don't get me wrong, I'm really delighted that we have this campaign to bring into the light the fact that people are suffering inside and that something can now be done to support them. And even as I say that, I can see that actually this affects every single human being, and it should not be a taboo subject. And where did that concept come from anyway? That somehow you're inferior as a human being for experiencing something that is part of the human condition. I mean, everybody has low moods. Everybody has high moods. And just look at it for a second. Do you always feel amazing, peaceful, secure, and joyous every second of the day? And the answer to that is no, you don't. And even if you're in a low mood, do you always feel sad, depressed, anxious, stressed every second of the day? And the answer is no, you don't. Because when we look really closely, the human experience is an ever-changing dynamic and intelligence, because we live in the world of thought and not circumstance. It can be really tricky to see that. So let's look at it another way. Let's take the digestive system. Now, there's an intelligence behind that. We eat things, we eat food, and the intelligence of the system is such that the food digests, and the system itself takes the nutrients from the food and turns it into energy so that we can have activities in life, so that we can perform in life. Now, we don't question and judge and give meaning to that intelligence which outputs energy within our physical body. So why is it do we judge the output of the human mind, the function of the human mind and how it works? That intelligence behind it gives us our experiences in life. And if we start to see that that's just the end product of how it is our mind works, then we start to see that there's nothing wrong with us. We don't need to give that experience labels and diagnoses and meaning. And what happens is, and I've seen this in my client work, as soon as they, if you like, are educated to how it is the human mind is working to create experience for all of us, the fact that there is an intelligence that is happening exactly the same for all of us really helps people to understand their psychology, and they start to understand their spirituality, because they start to see this formless divine intelligence which is working every single organ in our body, every single cell in our body is being run by this spiritual divine intelligence of all things. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not dismissing people who are suffering. It's really real to you when you're in those low states of mind. And me too. I mean, I have been having all sorts of ebb and flow of the energy of thought that just comes into my mind, and it comes and goes. And one minute I'm kind of in a lower mood, and another minute I'm in a higher mood. But here's the thing. There's nothing wrong. And that's the biggest single shift, I suppose, or insight that I've had in this work recently, is that no matter how I'm feeling, there's nothing wrong. My essence, my soul, my spirit is still perfect and whole. There's nothing I need to change on the outside of me in order for the feeling to go. I don't need it to go. I'm not scared or afraid of what it is I'm feeling anymore. That's what I've really woken up to recently. And that just takes so much off the table. When you see how something works, you can see how it doesn't work. And for me, I was always really quite scared about presenting. And I had a lot of thinking about presenting in front of large audiences. I'd be okay with like 10, 20, even 30 people, no problem. But I had this imaginary, illusory belief that, say, 100 or more than 100 would just be too scary and I wouldn't be able to do it. And I wouldn't put myself in a situation, I wouldn't take contracts where there would be that number of people, because I know that behind the scenes, I would be really just too nervous. My physical body would just break down. And it's really interesting because now I know, one, that my feeling is not coming from the numbers in the audience. And two, that my feeling state is just the way in which experience works. And it's just going to ebb and flow. It's going to come and go. And I know that I don't need to take it seriously at all. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the show. And I just want to thank everyone that got involved in Mental Health Awareness Week in the UK and around the world. It was phenomenal, actually. And I feel that we've all been outed as human beings. And yep, everybody, hands up. We all have times when we feel low. And you know, just like when you're a teenager and the subject of periods, or when you're in your 50s like I am and the subject of menopause, none of it should be taboo. Let's talk about it. It's all part of the human condition, whether it's mentally or physically. And let's get the support that we need to help everybody to lead their best and high performance and fulfilling life. So that just brings me to the end of the show. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can just contact me on denise.holland@class-performance.com, or you can look on my website at www.class-performance.com. And that just leaves me to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I look forward to sharing with you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.